another thing, I hate to jump off of this, man, but this is just such a good topic, and it's going to lead into the next topic as well. But, you know, I find myself telling my kids I love them. I tell every time I get off the phone, I tell my kids I love them. But us growing up, we didn't get that. I'm gonna say I didn't get that. No, you know what I'm saying? My father didn't tell me every time we got off the phone, "Hey son, love you." Right. But you know, we got to change these generational curses. You know what I'm saying? We got to change.
I will say,
quick comment real quick. 20J20 said he probably cried, just not in front of you. Right. The era he grew up in had a lot to do with it, and he's right. This is piggyback on what he.
I mean,
said.
I get that. No doubt. I was going to say what Brian, what Buglen was saying right there. I mean, I feel like the generation that's before us, and I totally 150%, 1,000 agree with you. I feel like we have made excuses on what we think love should be, right? Especially family, because you know what I'm saying, like some people look at love, well, you know, he took care of the house, he did this, he loved you. Okay, nobody goes to school and say, my dad loved me because he paid the bills, he paid rent. My dad loved me because he put food on the table. Nobody says that. You know what I'm saying? They want you to be programmed thinking, well, he loved you because he's showing an action. When in reality, it's cool to show an action. Don't get it twisted. But men and women do need to hear that word. It does need to be said. You know what I'm saying? A verbal word needs to be said. Affirmation needs to be said. And I think what happens is that our generation, this is what's crazy. And I'm gonna tell you why I feel like our generation is jacked up. Our generation is jacked up, especially for our kids. I'm gonna tell you why. It's because we don't have some of us have a balance and some of us don't. Some of us don't want to discipline our kids because we've been disciplined too hard. Some of us want to show too much love to our kids because we never had love. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we got to have a balance with that. You got to be able to discipline your kids and show love and say I love you and have the whole balance to where your kids can grow up understanding the whole. Go ahead, what you going to say?
But see, no, I'm not to cut you off. But see that you're right. But see, the hard part about that is easier said than done because you still got the daily life because some people still are dealing with their own traumas from their childhood.
Exactly.
Right. And that's a good segue home to that next topic, how childhood trauma may be showing.
Is that what we're about to go into?
In your relationship.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, say it again.
How childhood trauma may be showing up in your relationship.
Oh wow.
And that goes for your kids, but I think in this instance,
I think I had an article on that one, but I don't have the article right now. So
exactly.
Yeah, we roll with it.
But at the same time, it goes back to what you know. Like, you know how you as a parent used to get beat, so then you beat your kids, but you know you didn't like getting beat as a kid, but you still.
I was going to say the opposite
because that's what you knew.
I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say that there is a lot of kids not beat because they got beat. So there's a lot of parents that don't want to do that. That's why they got the timeout or sit in the corner.
No, that's because they got the law. They had the justice system in place. That ain't had nothing to do with. They like people would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get arrested if I hit that kid." Nah. But to go back on what I was saying before is the fact that when we talk about our parents, they grew up in a different time.
Era.
They grew up in a time where racism, they didn't have, so they had to teach you tough because when you walked out into this world, the world wasn't going to be nice to you.
Right.
You was going to have to deal with what comes with that. And that's why it was always, don't cry, don't do this. And that's where we go back to the piggyback off the childhood trauma, where they dealt with so much as a child because they didn't hear affirmations of, I love you and everything because it had to be tough. So that's all they knew. That's all they know how.
This is about to be deep.
Back then, back then, they didn't have the help that we have today. And some of our parents still need help. As far as what?
I will say this. This is what I will say. I feel like the generation is weaker, but we have help. I feel like the generation back then was stronger and was able to take on certain type of things to where now we can't even say certain things to each other because we get defensive automatically.
Oh no, I think it's terrible now because there is no balance.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I said you're right when you said balance, but there is no balance Because guess what? Because everybody's spectrum is different.
Yeah.
So there will not be, because if you say this, you got 50 people. If you say this to your child, you got 50 people over here say you shouldn't have said that. Then you got 50 people over here say, yeah, you should have said that. And then everybody, the middle going to be like, okay, I'm going to agree with both of y'all because it can't be like, it has to be a balance.
That's just like if I put this cup here and Jody hit me, go boom, Larry, get that. I'll be like, all right, but if he did that to my son, he just hit me with the arm. He didn't even touch you. He didn't even touch you.
No balance. It's no balance. It's just so, let me tell you, and this is our truth. I'm just telling you what like it is. It goes back to when we was talking about the bullying thing.
I'm glad you brought that. I was just thinking about the same thing.
It's back to we saw the bullying thing. I'm not gonna tell my child wait for him to hit you first, and then you hit. No, ain't no way. Come on, man. This world is not. Y'all know how I get. I'm a little tip. This society is not nice.
Right.
Somebody needs to say it. Society is not nice. They don't care what you're going through.
I want to know where did that come from.
They don't care what you're going through. Everybody want to say, oh, we care. We this. No, you don't. You only care about what's in your household and your bubble. You really don't. Exactly right. You really don't care about what's going on elsewhere.
I think the sad thing. Go ahead. I was going to say, I think the problem is with that. And I don't know who started that. You don't hit them, let them hit you first, because this is the sad thing. It can go two ways with that story, right? They hit you.
Get slept.
They hit you. You hit them back. It's a rumble. You get beat up, right? They're gonna be known for the person that beat you up, right? Or you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they're gonna always be looked at. Well, he hit you first. You never, you don't never want to be looked at as the softer side of Sears.
Well, just like our parents said, right? Like it's like don't start nothing, but you better finish it if it do get started. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the sad thing. You would never know what you can do because you was the not the aggressor and you was the defender. And that's the sad thing, because you wasn't preparing yourself to be that person. You was preparing to get hit. You was preparing yourself to get punched. Think about it. You was preparing yourself to be embarrassed by everybody.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, now that's more pressure right there. Think about that. Think about that for 1 second. I could be the person that's just still up on you and look like okay, he stole you, right? Or I could be the person to get punched in the face, and now I gotta build up the courage to beat you up. And if I don't beat you up, that's even worse.
Right.
I think we got somebody want to come up on this topic.
Where?
Who is that?
A female. We got a female want to come up.
Are they coming up on IG?
On IG.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, and that's the thing, man. I'm telling you, man, I don't understand. I'm a type of person that common sense is common sense. And you see what the world is, you see what it's about. It just, what is it? Yeah, Lily Doe. Yeah.
I mean, my thing on it is it's tough.
Can we see? Are we gonna be able to see?
Yeah, man. You want to see on your phone?
Yeah.
You should be able to see it on your phone when it come up.
Why that jump stuck on my face like that? Crazy. What's up, Mr.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
Nothing much. Just listening.
Okay.
What you got on this topic tonight?
Go ahead.
What you have on this topic tonight?
So basically, I'm 23. So from what my parents have taught me, it is a different day and age where everybody is sensitive. It is a different day and age where now we get more help, we get more assistance. Like, for example, I'm in school and we get assistance on books, we get assistance on mental health, we get assistance on just anything that we're going through. Whereas back then, there wasn't a lot of resources, there wasn't a lot of different things to where it was left to the parents to decide. So that's a difference on like where it's more so basically in a sense more of a hand holding than many, which in the idea of the fact of it being said weak.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So what can be done? What do you think needs to be done? Is there any other solutions?
I don't believe it. The way life is going, and with COVID and everything, and more of everybody making mental health a thing, it's just always going to be a handhold. It's never going to be how it used to be back then, to where there's a balance. It would have to be left up to the parents.
Right.
For a child.
I totally agree with you. It's hard. I mean, you know what's crazy? It's hard because in this generation right here, it's too much either on one side or the other side, to where you have a lot of kids. This is just me, working with children and seeing this. You have a lot more kids that are not being disciplined, right? But you got a lot more kids now that are taking on words over their life, like, like everybody now is ADHD or everybody's ADD. That wasn't a thing where I don't believe every kid is diagnosed to have that. You see what I'm saying? Like,
so you think they just making up? They make it names.
I feel like they take it on. I just feel like they take it on. Like their mother and their dad say. Somebody left.
Somebody was trying to say something.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's more so like they're making an excuse for said behaviors when really that's probably just them. Like, for example, like you said before, ADHD. That child just maybe that's just who they are.
Yeah,
right.
Never a said problem. Like, you're gonna just give them medication just for them to just be.
Yeah,
in a sense, be basic and not be creative or anything like that.
Or you hear them say, "Oh yeah, my child, he got ADHD," or they say he what's the other one that they use? ADD, but it's another one though. Say it again.
OCD. I think she said OCD.
No, it's not. It's not OCD. What is it when they're like not too stressed, but
hypertension,
anxiety.
There it is.
Yeah,
anxiety. Like that word, and anxiety and ADHD is thrown around so much. It is crazy. And it's like we're quick to put words on ourselves versus just correcting situations. Labels just versus correcting. And I think that's where we have dropped the ball with the balance.
I think another area.
It comes in a sense of everybody wants to feel like they belong somewhere.
Yeah,
It's like they want to be able to be like that's
in
where
a group.
The whole bullying thing comes from. It's like they want children to belong to somewhere, so that way they're not looked down a certain way or looked at a certain way. But does that really help, or does that hurt?
That's a great.
It's hurting, man, because like we was talking about with the whole bullying thing, man. Like if you teach your child to not take no ish from nobody, then they go to school and they go out into the world and they'll develop those traits to be strong and to defend themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like that's where us as a society, and then even going into the schools, is like you put the blame on the person, in that particular situation, right? I'm not talking about someone who's just going around punching people in the face just because they can or they want to be a bully. But in a situation where you have someone that's in class with another student and they're continuously just going at this one particular person because they want to be a bully, and they're not putting their hands on them, but they keep saying stuff, and then that's when you get the situations where someone goes and they want to, pew pew, or a fight breaks out, right? And because I don't want to say certain things on YouTube.
I know what you're saying, but we know where you're coming from. But you on the right track. You on the right track with that. You on the right track.
There's no communication or repercussion for the kid that started the situation.
Yeah.
Like where's the teacher telling that kid to shut up? Like, oh, he punched you in the face because you wouldn't shut up. Like,
Oh, but you know what though? But it's the thing that gets me is that both children get in trouble and I think this is the reason why you got the families that want them to be the aggressor, because they feel like, hey, you're gonna get in trouble anyway. So you might as well just go ahead and do what you got to do, right? And the sad thing about it is versus just getting on the kid that actually started it, you want to put both of them in timeout or both of them in punishment, which I don't believe is fair. And another thing that I can't stand, I know I'm gonna probably step on some toes. I hate when parents say, "I think my kid's on the spectrum." Like stop that.
You think your kids are what?
On a spectrum, like they're hot, like they're something's wrong, like they have a disability or things like that. If you're talking to your child, hey JuJu, do you want some JuJu? No. Do you want some juice? Talk to your child. He doesn't know.
You're absolutely
he doesn't
right.
have a problem.
Yeah.
Your child doesn't have a problem. The problem is
it's like, oh, that's cute. That's it. No, it's not.
Exactly.
Stop. Like, don't let it. I'm serious.
I think he's on the spectrum because he doesn't know how to say juice.
No,
well, you're saying JuJu.
Yeah, you're not.
Do you want some JuJu?
Yeah.
Do you want some JuJu? No. He's going to school saying, I want some JuJu.
No, you got to be real.
I just got mad.
You want some JuJu?
Yeah. So I think this is the problem. When you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you immediately want to label your child.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I feel like it's our generation that's jacked up because of what we went through.
Right.
I feel like the generation before us were stronger. They took a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Even the generation before them. Like, let's just be real. Let's just put it like this. How many of us or our kids can really deal with 1920s, heck, 1960s, 1800s, 1700s? Will we be able to live in that time frame and be able to deal with?
But I wouldn't go that route because they wasn't brought up like.
No. Listen,
if they was put in that position,
I'm saying if you would,
feel what I'm saying?
If you was to take one of our kids right now,
of course they can't survive.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, what I'm saying is, we had okay.
And
I give you a prime
and the
example.
reason why I'm saying is because I feel like they're stronger.
Yeah, let me read this comment real quick. Lovely Liz said, our generation dropped the ball here. We did not pass or instill the values and lessons we were taught. That's why they are so sensitive and always diagnosing our children with something. I could explain, but Lily, though, won't let me talk. Lily. She told me to be quiet. Okay. But what I'm saying is, it's like, okay, we didn't have social media. So things that we had developed by going out and talking to people and going out and doing and meeting people and becoming friends and doing this and doing that. We did not have the way these kids got video games and stuff, but we had to actually go to each other's house and play video games, and we actually had to play outside. We actually had to socialize. So but by being though, these kids now can just be by themselves in their room and don't have to come out at all. Guess what? It has made them softer to deal with the stuff, to deal with the stresses and stuff that goes out when they leave that room.
Right, because they're not dealing with those.
Because they don't exactly. Right. They're not dealing with it on a daily basis like we did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I was saying I feel like we dropped the ball. I feel like our generation is so much on a softer side than our family, our old generation. I feel like they swept a lot of stuff under the rug and they didn't deal with it. They didn't deal with issues because they felt like, hey, you can handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you strong enough, like you don't got to talk about it because they don't want to. I think we're the generation that we want to talk about it. You know what I mean? If something's bothering, if I'm mad, I need to talk to you right now. Like, I need to let this out. Right. You know what I mean? Because growing up,
they rather text versus talk.
Text and talk.
Yeah.
So you see,
okay. Well, let me say this. Okay.
Hold on one second, Joe. Let me get to this one because Rail, I don't know if it's Rail L or Rail I, but it's an excuse to push meds on the kids.
Of course,
you know,
money. But let me say this though. We talk about back in the generation, older generation.
Yep.
Where did they have to go? Where?
I don't.
When they was going through anything they was going through, where did they have to go?
I think they
on
were
their knees talking to Jesus.
Exactly.
That's a very.
So and that's what I'm saying. Where did they have to go? Where could they go? Who could they lean on? Who could they lean on?
Actually, this is what I will say. I feel like at that time, people were so focused on, especially our culture, we were so focused on getting out the struggle that we didn't know who to lean on, because you in the struggle with me. You in the struggle with me. You know what I'm saying? That's just like this statement that my great aunt said that was so powerful. She said, if two people fall in a bin, right? Either you help each other get out, or one gets out and pulls the other one out. If the other one doesn't want to go out, you just got to walk away, right? Now think about it like this. If we're all like, struggling, going through stuff, I'm not going to talk to you going through struggle, because I'm not going to put my struggling on you. I'm not going to do the same thing with you. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to get out of it. And but the thing is this though, if you did come to me, we were a generation where we would help you. You just ain't gonna open your mouth and say it. Like you may be hungry and be like, yo, I need to eat, but I'm not gonna ask my brother to feed him, knowing I know he gotta feed his family. I'm gonna get out here and do what I gotta do. But that's not to say that you wouldn't help me. You see what I'm saying? Because we are we are a culture that will take care of our folks.
That's funny, because that brings us to the next topic.
What's that?
It does.
Interesting.
One comment real quick.
I don't know.
Real quick. Lovely Liz said, I also noticed that as they transition into young adults, their survival skills are nowhere near what it should be.
Oh my God. They're not. No. Look, how many kids can you say are driving at 15 or 16?
A lot.
They're driving at 15, 16.
Yeah.
There's a lot that are not driving. I know I know a lot of kids. I know a lot of kids that are not driving at 15 or 16. What I mean legally.
No, it's a lot.
Yeah, you get your permit at 15.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Some are not though, because of the fact of the matter is that the laws have changed. Number one. Number two, they're not out working to get a car. It's given to them.
Just sitting inside.
Oh yeah, that part. Now that part, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Their car is given.
Lyft and Uber.
Stuff is given. Yeah, Lyft or Uber. So there's like, you gotta think about it like this. When we were growing up, we was catching a bus. Can you tell me a kid that has catched a bus?
Caught a bus.
Or thank you. Look, caught a bus. I sound like a slave who catch the bus. I sound like boss. Or caught a bus, walked to the store. Nope, they don't even want to walk to. They don't even want to walk to a 7-Eleven or a gas station to go pick up chips or anything. They ask their mom and dad for every little thing that they need. I mean, let's keep it real.
Nah, because go ahead, bro.
I was just saying, like for me, like it just depends, right? Like the corner store isn't as necessarily as close as it used to be, depending on where you at. You know what I'm saying? So then, like my son, you know, for certain ages, right? Like my son 10, like. And because of the things that we've seen, and you know, whether it be like in documentaries and stuff, and just like how
we live in,
how crazy kids. Exactly, man. It's just like,
but are we sheltering them too much? Because even we knew back then, by a certain time, these lights, if the lights come on, you need to have your butt in the house, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying like, is that like there's a lot of things that like are being brought to light more that probably still happened during those times, but you didn't have things like social media, people doing these documentaries, like abduction. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
women getting abducted, children getting abducted, and stuff like. Go ahead.
But you got Wi-Fi. You got satellite.
No.
Listen, though, back then, somebody could get snatched, and it would take them literally a few weeks to a month to find them. Right?
Yeah.
His son could go outside right now. He got a tracker on his son.
Yeah, but let's be honest though. Let's be honest. The people that snatching kids nowadays, they know that, right?
Yeah.
So they're not gonna keep no cell phone, no smartwatch, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So with all that technology, if your kid gets snatched up, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is that they were doing the same thing then that they're doing now. The only difference is that
we're sheltering our kids.
That's the thing, and that's what I was saying. I feel like we're sheltering them, and we're not raising them into a place of independence in a sense of what I mean by independence, you know, of giving them chores, giving them things to do around the house like we did. Like
my son do that. I just shelter him from. Like,
yours do. I know people
about to walk to the corner
I know people right now that's your son's age that still their mom and dad still wash their balls.
Oh yeah, I mean, they ain't doing that.
No,
that's kind of pedophile-ish.
And you know what? And it's crazy because if you was to talk to them, they'd be like, well, you know, but in our minds, yes, that does sound like that, right? But you got some people that are crippling their kids into young adults,
right?
You see what I'm saying?
That's something like that. That is.
I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like this generation, and I'm not trying to knock nobody, but I feel like this generation, we're gonna have more kids living at home than them actually being on their own. That's how I feel. I feel like you're gonna have more kids.
But do you see I'm gonna be okay. I look at it differently. But go ahead. I'm listening.
The reason why I say that is because,
being at home doing what? Because if I done seen so many times, I'm gonna tell you right. I done seen so many times with white folks, their kids stay home, they save, they invest, they do everything they need to do to build up their financial status.
And guess what though?
But black folks, we kick our kids out.
Hold on.
As soon as they turn 18.
And I was gonna say something on that. And I was gonna say this.
You gonna put something on this light bill?
Yeah, right.
You know, but this is what I was gonna say. Exactly. I was gonna say this though. There is pros and cons to that. Because I can honestly say, I got friends right now that's our age, right now, that was going through what he said, right? And they're either homeless or on drugs. And these are not black people now, okay? These were rich white kids that overdosed because they had everything handed to them. B. Glenn knows some of the people we're talking about because they went to school with him too. You see what I'm saying? To where you see me and him been working since we were 14, 15 years old. You see what I'm saying? And you can actually see the benefits of us working. You see what I'm saying? To where we're not strung out. Thank God we ain't go through those type of processes or things like that. But we didn't have that silver spoon handed us. We were blessed, but we didn't have that silver spoon. We had to work hard. We had to become a man early. And if you really think about it, would I change that? No, I wouldn't change that, because where would I be right now? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would I be right now? So you may have a son right now who, like, Dad, I don't want to leave right now. I just turned 18. I don't need to get a job right now. I think I need to take some time off. Okay, well,
you know, when you think about these type of things, you know what I'm saying, and how society has changed and the way we raise our kids has changed. You also have to take into account of, man, the way that you talk to your kids sometimes can trigger them. You hear about a lot about suicide with kids killing themselves.
Yeah,
man.
that's crazy.
And with you sheltering them and not giving them the real, but also trying to protect them from the outside, it's like a gift and a curse all the way around.
And there's a balance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, you have to stay involved. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I try to stay involved with all my kids. I try the best of my ability, and it's just hard. I think it's hard for everybody.
Being a parent is hard, man.
Yeah.